everybody, welcome to Rainbow Rage. I am Ginger and I will be your host for this video. And today we are finally gonna play the Stanley Parable. Now I say finally because, okay, so what happened was before I was trying to record this game, and every time I would play it, go check on my recording, it didn't record what I was doing. And I did this 3 times before I finally went fuck it, and I decided to just shelf this game for a while, and I think I figured out how to get this going, which is great because oh my god, it was a disaster. So anyway, let's get right on it. Hello everyone. So, to make this a long story short, my screen recorder kind of fucked up. So basically, in the original video, most of the story I was telling about my cats is pretty much fucking gone. Like, the audio cut out at random fucking points, which is okay. And in terms of, luckily for myself, I shut the fuck up when the actual introduction began. So, while I sit here and play some doll games, cause fuck it, I'm gonna tell you the story until when I pick it up again after the intro here, cause as you can see, I'm working. So, quick, background info before I continue this. We have 2 cats. One, the bigger one, his name is Satan. Well, that's not his real name, but we're gonna go with it because it fits him better, and I hate his actual name anyway. And then a littler one named Callie, little sweetheart. I can see her right now. She's just chilling. Okay, so when we first got Callie, it was extra important because not only do we get her like younger than she really should have been given away, which is something I'm not gonna get into today. Satan, before we got her, was even more a spastic little asshole. Yeah, I'm looking right at you, buddy. Than he already is. So what we decided to do is we just kind of like have her like holed up in my room until they could safely be in the same room together without surveillance, because you know, like any cat, especially a male, already fucking psychotic as hell, he's not gonna like her. Well, he likes her now, but back then it was bad. And so, you know, in there we got her own litter box, and we just never got rid of it. So we basically just kind of have that second one that we you know, just scoop out, clean out. Although they usually mainly use his. I don't know why. Maybe it's because of the location, it's bigger, I don't know. So, now this takes place after she was able to safely walk around the apartment without us, or mainly me, worrying that shithead is gonna try to attack her. And so fast forward then to like that night, she's all good. She's probably in the living room or something. And like it's 3, 4 in the morning, maybe. I can't remember for sure. I know for sure it was around the 3 area. Anyway, so like this is one of the times when he just kind of like comes in my room, no reason, just kind of sits down, stares at me. I just kind of ignore him usually. Just kind of do my thing, dick around on my phone while I pretend to sleep or whatever. Then I start hearing digging, and I sit here and think, oh, well, I guess he has to go in there, and Callie's probably using the other one. But he was digging for a while. I don't know what the fuck he was doing. I didn't know at the time, but he was doing something. And so, fast forward to the morning, I wake up, it's like afternoon, probably, yeah, it's noon, afternoon.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Okay, hang on a second. The fucking air conditioner came on, and of course, you know, I'm right next to it. Okay, so based on what I know from this game, you basically do whatever the fuck you want. You can follow the narrator's orders, or you can just say fuck it. But for this first time, for the sake of it, we're just gonna follow his instructions. And meanwhile, I'm gonna finish my cat story.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay, it's supposed to be an achievement for this room, but I already got in one of the things where I was trying to do the thing, it didn't work. So anyway, you know, I go cause the litter box, the little one, is more towards the closet, or in my room where the closet is, and
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Shut up for a second, narrator. Okay, so anyway, so then, you know, I go touch my closet, 'cause I put my shirts in there, and honestly, TMI, but I wasn't wearing a shirt to bed because it's fucking hot as balls. Well, it was anyway. And so I go to my closet, step down. Yeah, there's cat litter all over the floor. Apparently, this little shit decided he wanted to play archaeologist. Yeah, Satan, I'm looking at you. I know you're pretending to sleep, you little shit. Fortunately, I didn't actually find any shit on the floor or anything. I mean, there's a couple, I don't even know. I don't even know what the fuck he was thinking. You know, I heard all the digging and all the great shit, but I didn't think that he was doing that. I just thought that they had already filled it up for some fucking reason. Whatever. I cleaned it up. It was a pain in the ass, but I cleaned up enough. Let's actually.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
It's pretty neat. All right, let's go to the left this time. Well, we're gonna follow the guy's instructions. Cause like that.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Me too, though. Things, money, more money, things. But with money to buy more things? Graphs? Graphs about things and money? Happy feelings? Me too, James. Me fucking too. Alright, I don't feel like looking at everything, but I'm gonna look at everything. Fucking white manager, Jesus Christ. Efficiency. Who moved my desk? Whatever the fuck the topic is. Did these people even know what the topic is anymore? Sure as shit looks like they don't. Oh, there we go.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Somebody's on here quick. That's scary. I'm not gonna do that. I will next time. That seems interesting. That's blinding. Sorry. Pretty neat. That's fucking neat. I wish they could sit. Oh well. Who cares?
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him?
Hey.
What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
I'll enter the last digit in a sec. I'm just gonna look around for you guys. Just quick.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
Alright, narrator, shut up. I get it.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
It's dark over here. Alright. There's a little light over here. It's eerie as shit, but I'll do it. Jump here. That's much fast. Apparently. Oh, it's loading, loading. God, I can't supposed to be so annoyed that they're both like sleeping. Satan's on the floor, Callie's behind, well, on the back of the couch. Callie's so sweet, though. Neither of them are very affectionate, but Callie will at least rub her face on you. That's about all she does. That's alright.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
What's over here?
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Okay. So, I'll try that next time.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Over here, I think? I can't say for sure. I think... Oh, Oh, I was right. Okay. Yeah.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. Lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Oh god, okay, that's hurting me. It's okay. I'm gonna try and make this quicker, because, oh, okay, what was I in? 412? Yeah, 412. Wait, maybe. Fuck, I don't know. I was in the 4s, I know that. Maybe that one? Yeah, 423. There I am. Hi. Pirate? What's going on this neck of the woods? That one's just fucking blank. Yeah. That fucker's over there's fired. That one's blank. Yeah, you are fired. Ooh, what did you do? So is there like the weirdest red screen going on here? I don't know what's happening. You know what? I'm just gonna move the fuck on.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible?
That's scary.
Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Sorry. Just like dying. Oh, right here. Neat.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Did I forget about this a little bit here? Not completely, but like, just the way it looks. Unnecessarily. I'm sorry. I'm just making noise, making noise, really. Oh fuck, what was that? I was just able to do something. Whoa! I did it! It's pretty neat. Now what? Here, I think it's this way. Alright. Fine. Button keys. Yeah, I want to see what this says. This probably leading us down a different direction, but I don't give a fuck. I want to try this. Something's happening, and I'm amused. There's 3. There's 2 and 1 there. Which probably isn't nothing, but if it doesn't, well, rip. wasting time now that I'm having fun, so fight me. Wasn't spinning before, was it? Ah, fuck, I probably just fucked myself. Oh well. It's Jaws. Alright, let's go.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Well, I can't see shit now.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Like, he's always got, like, his fangs hanging out a little bit. He's a cute little vampire. He's also a little shit, but, you know, that's just how cats are, right? Okay, it was 47. Okay, alright. I knew it was in the 400s. So we could try just staying here. Maybe
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
this is where I could have fun. Oh, neat. I'm up. Up, buddy, up, up. What's this? Awaiting input. It's the only computer doing that. I think it's interesting. Holy shit, something just happened. I did something. Holy fuck. Holy shit. Seems the right way. Look.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
It's not going to have a desk. I can't go back in time. This is different. Okay, maybe it's something in the computer.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in. Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it. At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left. But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
No.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Something down there. Probably. Kinda tempted. Not gonna lie. Kinda tempted.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting.
What? Really?
I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
There you go, for a second, let me go. Well, not been huge. I'll find out next time.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Damn. Alright.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door. All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you.
Okay.
You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map, because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what, let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
I kind of want to, and yet I want to be spiteful. Screw him, going through here.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
That'll be nice here.
Aha! You see, I knew I was onto something. Where do these flashes of inspiration come from? How did I know the game needed a third door? Well, it's instinct mostly, a calling in your gut. I really couldn't say where the idea came from, except that I felt it in my soul. You can't teach that, Stanley. Don't even try. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Well, you're being a rude asshole.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
Hi, big baby. Oh, sorry, I was talking to my cat. He's so cute, though.
In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
Oh, fuck that. I don't like the noise. Yeah, no, I don't like that noise. Stop that there.
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out, I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game, just to ease the pain? Let's see.
Well, the game
What do we have here?
And the noise wasn't a thing. No.
Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Loading, 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 loading. My mom's taking me out for ice cream. There's a thing I haven't tried yet, but it's ice cream, and I'm pretty sure it has peanut butter, so I think I'll like it. It's Minecraft.
Well, Stanley, is this any better?
Minecraft.
At last, the one thing you've always desired. A game I had absolutely nothing to do with. But is it enough? Tell me that, Stanley. Will it ever be enough? Well, I'll say this. I'm done making things for you. From now on, I will only create to fulfill a greater artistic purpose. Watch this, Stanley. I'm going to build a house.
Good for you, man.
This will go here. No, here. And then... Let's see, what does it need? Yes, of course. And just to finish it all off... Yes, it's complete. I made this, Stanley. Look at it. Gaze upon my work of art and feel ashamed at your own inadequacy. Ah, but you've only seen it from the outside. You've only gotten half the experience. Please, step inside and make yourself comfortable. Isn't it grand? Isn't it perfect?
I like it.
It could only be better if... Wait, that's it. We must rebuild it out of diamond. Diamond everything. Yes, yes, yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining.
Whatever.
Oh my, it looks like it's going to get a bit dark. Have you brought a light?
That's the way it is.
Oh, no, 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 no. This is far more open-ended than I had in mind. I'm looking for something more narrow and linear. Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This won't do at all. 1 out of 5. Even the diamonds couldn't save this one. Okay, new game.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I just heard the spiders in that game, so thank you. Holy shit.
Yes! I don't even know what this game is, but I love it. You, trapped in a glass box with no way out, listening to me talk. Oh, it's inspired. I couldn't have done it any better myself. What is this game even supposed to be? I can't figure it out. Okay, now I'm curious. Let's go find out what the hell this is.
This portal. I've never played it, but I want to. Sounds pretty cool.
Oh, it's a puzzle. Critical thinking, Stanley. Your forte.
Oh my god, last time I played this, you have no idea how long it took me to realize that I could actually, like, pick these things up.
Genius. No, actually, you know what? I think that's plenty. I really don't care much to see you stumble through any more of these games.
Alright. What can I do with this? Kinda forgot that you can take jumps out. So. Oh, what can we now? Oh, new place, neat. This way. This way? Yeah. It's always nice to explore. One random light. Hey, here's my damn office. Pretty neat. Looks different, but who cares? Alright, I think it's time to get up. How the fuck do you save here? You know what, that works. Hi, buddy. Probably been recording for a while, but you know who cares.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
That's probably about the actually can get here. Oh well. This computer did a thing. It did a thing. Something did a thing. Alright, good to know. Good. Alright. Let's go. Alright, I wanna try, like, getting all the way to the end.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Unless my curiosity of this place is more.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe He thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want.
You know what's funny about
I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine.
The funny thing about this is
I am okay.
for a little while, like, I was thinking about, like, when we're, like, looping around. This place I was thinking about, and I was like...
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Bitch. Somebody outside won't shut the fuck up. She's talking very loudly.
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Interesting.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Try that next time. I'm gonna try something quick.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
What is this? Screw it, that's it. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing it anyway. Loading, 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 loading. You know what? When he wouldn't stop talking, I forgot what I was gonna say.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now, in order to get back, he needed to go, from here, it's, left.
No! That was stupid paranoid voice. I don't want to go left. Ah, fuck it. It's only option here.
Oh, no. No, it's to the right. My mistake. No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh, dear. Would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep. Okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
He's trying his best. This is not more right now. Sorry. Screw it. Only place open.
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh.
So, there I am.
Who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, We'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, hmm?
Yeah.
Okay. From the top.
Never the end, loading, never the end, oh, okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Hang on for a minute. Still on input computer. Oh, alright. I just fucking closed the door on myself. Alright, that works. Oh, new powers. Why are you yelling? What the fuck? Go outside. Jesus. Go outside. Please seal your tits. Thank you. Hearing him from his save. Alright, resume. Okay. Right. 420! Blaze it. Had to, sorry. Actually, I mean, I didn't really have to, but it was necessary for myself anyway. Hello.
When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere, or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
I'll find that mirror. Let's go. This way. Alright. One light. I get the feeling. Here's pretty dark.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Never the end, never the end. Sorry, buddy.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Sure, with fuck not. Alright. Little construction in there.
Aha! I knew we'd missed something. The story. Here it comes.
Or not.
No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
That's just a fine mess we're in. Ooh, I don't like this. I don't like this.
Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley?
Yeah, office building.
Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job.
It's too bright.
Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay? I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
I might change something with those monitors.
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
I'm in for it. I'm exploring. Exploring. It's not right, but okay. It's great. Let's follow the line. I don't want to be weird. Some fuckers playing solitaire. Let me play solitaire, goddammit.
You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right? Okay, now if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office in fact the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa, 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 whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood. Cut the music, go back and look at that fern. Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything. Wait, what? We're back at the office? No, no, no. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
I'm having fun.
Oh, no, Oh, no, no, not again, Line. How could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart. You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Oh, why not? We haven't gone back there before. Boop. Wait. Okay.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
Logic, please.
Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine. Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin.
What the fuck?
So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
I don't wanna. Ah, fuck it. Alright, that's what this is.
Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really... No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen?
Probably.
So, okay.
Yeah.
I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story. Wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey. Though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime...
Okay. I am I'm sorry, my mother called. Hope you guys didn't miss up too much on that sweet, sweet dialogue. There's a little dialogue box here yet. There's that.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Just gonna keep going with this, 'cause fuck it.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an... Oh no, no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time.
Okay, so I'm gonna try this and this one. Assuming it's an ending. I'm gonna try that later. For now, I'm gonna...
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Look for my narrator. The one place that said escape, I'm gonna try that. Looks neat.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music. Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Okay, so I probably already said this one, so I'm gonna say it again. Anyway, because why the fuck not? What I'm gonna do then, just to finish the episode off, because why the fuck not, is I'm gonna go through that one other place just down here, and it said escape. I'm gonna see what the hell that is. Maybe next time I'll turn the mind control machine back on. Maybe. Who the fuck knows? I'll try something. It's a very open-ended game. That's why I like it so much. Well, so far anyway.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Escape.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death. The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
The real Stanley would never give up an opportunity to die. Sorry, I couldn't pass up that meme. I couldn't. I don't have that great of willpower. Woo! Oh, woo! Okay.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Oh?
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Or no. Guess we go this way.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Rid of this. Alright, the credits. Neat. Let's go this way. This is like a... Alright. This is like a thing to show how the game was made, junk. It's very interesting. Let's see what else there is here. It's pretty cool. It's like showing how the game was made in junk. It's neat. It's very neat. Did I just reach like the main end or something? So that's what happens. I'm still gonna try it. I mean, why the fuck not? But really not bad considering you can only really do so much here. That doesn't sound good. Not sure where I'm going, but I'm gonna keep wandering until I find it. Very neat. Crank this up.
Where were all of his co-workers? Oh, I don't know. How about they're throwing a surprise party for him for all his button pushing? Does that sound plausible to you? And finally, he pushed them over the line.
Okay, I'm gonna turn it back down, cause yeah. Okay, going back over here. Neat. Okay, where else do I go? Where the hell do I go from here? I'm gonna keep going. So I actually come up here. Neat. Okay. Countdown isn't ending, honestly. Ooh. That's something I'm gonna wait to see that something go first, because very neat. Alright. Front version of Stanley's room. This is more like it, yeah. Nothing too different. They don't change much, but there are changes. It's really cool how they show this. I like it. Exit.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
Now what? Okay. Alright. What happens if I click the off button? Not done here.
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now. It'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time...
Well, fuck, I guess. I really don't know what the fuck's happening now. Fuck. Alright then. Screw it.
This is the story of a man.
Okay, alright, I'm gonna stop there. Don't know why the fuck I started again, but I did. Whatever, who cares? Oh my god. Oh my god. Look at the fucking computer screen. Not the one you're looking at, like the one like on the screen, like right here. Okay, I'm gonna stop. Okay, I'm gonna stop there. Mainly because this episode's probably long as fuck. But you know what? Fuck it. Alright. I lost my train of thought for a second there. Anyway, so stop there. I'll pick this up later. When I feel like it, I guess. Whatever. And then I will see you guys later. Bye! Never the end, it's never the end, it's never the end. Blah, 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 blah.